Welcome back to Big Ben's Outdoors, and I'm taking a lunch break here on a hot summer day out at one of our beautiful state recreation areas, and I want to share this. This is my EDC pouch with you. This is one I've had for a couple months now. It's made by the Hidden Woodsmen, and this thing is fantastic. It has completely changed the way I do EDC, and that's why I want to share it with you guys, because me and my friends, we've been talking about EDC for 20 some years before it was a thing, right? So this has absolutely positively revolutionized how I do EDC, and I'd love to show it to you, and maybe you can get some ideas on how to use it. Now, this is just my kit, this is just what I'm doing with it, but hopefully it'll give you some ideas. Maybe you can give me some ideas. So let's go ahead and jump into it, see what we got. All right, let's take a deep dive into this Hidden Woodsman EDC pouch and what I have in it, what I'm carrying. So here's what I love about this thing. It is so well built. This is built in New England by a guy that he sews all this stuff himself. And it is, his craftsmanship shows. This is my second Hidden Woodsman product. I've been extremely pleased with both of them. And like I said, I've been using it for a couple months before I review it so that I can bring it to you guys. First off, high quality zipper. Nice, look at this nice big zipper. It's not one of those little dinky ones. You know, the materials, this, you know, thicker and rubberized on the back, so it does have some water resistance to it. We have hook and loop on the front. We'll get into why that might be useful in a minute, but let me go ahead and show you what I have in it and why I have those items in it. So first, let's put our hand in there. First thing I have is my knife. I've actually gone back to a Swiss Army knife after years of carrying both a folder or a fixed blade and a multi-tool. I've gone back to just throwing this in here for 99% of the time, and this works fantastic. This is the Swiss Army knife hiker, and I like it a lot because it has a couple nice blades on it. We're going to try not to have to use some of the other items in the kit. There's a couple nice blades, but what I really like is that it has an actual usable saw blade and a nice saw blade, and these things are ridiculously affordable. So if I lose it, I'm not going to cry. And we'll get into what this stuff means off to the right here in just a second. Now, the second most important thing, in my opinion, in there is your light. And for this, I've been using this lately, and I actually really like this little guy. This is the Olight iMini 2. Now, this little guy does not put off a lot of light, and it only has one mode, on. Okay, not a ton of light, it's only on, but here's what's nice about it. It's absolutely tiny, and you just plug it into a USB port to recharge it. So if I'm out using it for something, I get back in my truck, I can literally just plug this into the truck, have it charge while I'm driving, and then by the time I'm done, I think this thing recharges in like a half hour. It recharges ridiculously fast, and it's very usable because it also has a magnetic clip on the back. So this thing it's a great little light. Now you'll see off to the right that I do have another light. I have a couple of these, but this is a 4.7's Quark Mini. And I have a couple of these similar lights. These are great lights, fantastic, multi-mode, single 123A, but again, it's a little bigger. I pocket carry, I want something a little smaller. In the winter or when I'm camping, this is what's gonna go in here. And that's what's so nice about this bag. Sometimes maybe if I have a different use case, or if I'm going out for something different, I'll throw on one of my Benchmates in there. Like maybe I don't want to carry the fixed blade, I'll throw a Benchmate in there. Works great for that. I mean, that's what I'm really loving about this, you guys, is that I can just unzip, throw something in there. So next in here, we're gonna get into one of the most wonderful little things I've discovered. Just this little Write in the Rain notebook. Not just good for rain, but like in Nebraska when it's hot, you're sweating. It's also good for that. But I've been loving using this because I'm taking a lot of notes as I'm out on these state park Sundays trips. But in addition to that, here, yeah, this is what after years of different pens and pencils, having pens leak in my pocket, this I'm loving. This is a carpenter. For those of you who don't know, this is a carpenter pencil. You can get these any hardware store, any big department store. I think this was a quarter, and I cut it in half, and then I just sharpened it a little bit. But not just the cost is what's nice about this, and that it's completely lightweight, but also because of how versatile it is. So you can just, obviously you can write in the notebook, but also let's say you're marking your trail, or you mark where you want it to be. You can go ahead and, it's a non-destructive, it's just lead. You can mark a branch, you can mark a tree, right? So you have that ability. And if it breaks in your pocket, if the lead breaks off, or if you need to sharpen it, here you go. That's what you got your knife for. And trying to do this while the camera's in front of me is a little difficult, but yeah, that's literally why I got it. So I can just sharpen it right here. Now it's a lot easier to sharpen than I'm showing, but I don't necessarily need to sharpen it. So yeah, so I have an infinite amount of uses, and I got more of these sitting in the truck. So if I break it, and it gets too small, I have big hands. This will show you, but I can customize the size of it to to my liking. So I'm really loving that. The other thing is, here's an essential for the Midwest, or pretty much anywhere in the summertime. Yeah, got the off pads, the off wipes. Like these things, I have a ton of these because the bugs, well, there's one commonality in Nebraska in the summer. It's the bugs and it's the wind. That's the things you can count on. So those things, I have a ton of them, love them, always keep one in my pocket. Now again, this is the stuff that I carry and why I carry it. You might have something completely different. I'm just wanting to give you ideas and share with you mine. And finally, importantly for me, is that I'm kind of a klutz. So I have a bit of a, here, we'll start with kind of a multi-use antiseptic hand wipe. I have a bunch of different kinds of these. Whenever I use it, I replenish it in here. Again, I only usually keep one in there because if I'm out of the truck, or if I'm somewhere long enough to need potentially more than that, I probably have the bigger kit in my haversack, or with me. So this, I always keep a hand wipe for pretty much anything, but in case of me, I also keep a gauze pad. Never know when that could come in handy for multi reasons. And again, I mentioned I'm a klutz, and I do a good job of injuring myself. Keep a Band-Aid, just a regular old Band-Aid. And then I keep 2 of these big Band-Aids because these things, you can cut them in half. They're really nice, and these are the ones that are pre-treated with antibiotic. So if I do get a nice little gash or a cut or something, these are great. Okay, this isn't supposed to be a med kit. This isn't a med kit. This isn't a comprehensive tourniquet, everything med kit. This is a boo-boo kit. This is for what I carry in my pocket for when I am myself. Also, what I carry with me lately, I did the review on this, and yeah, this thing has been with me all the time. This is that Swiss Tech $35, or I think it's $30 Walmart knife. And I've been really happy with this thing. I've been beating the heck out of it, and it just works. And what's really nice about this is it's so light and it's so small that I mainly wear basketball shorts in the summertime. And this usually is in a pocket, or it'll even clip to my waistband, and it'll stay there just fine because it is so light. It's a great little knife. I've been liking the fact of carrying the fixed blade and the Swiss Army knife, as opposed to having one of these clipped to a pocket or what have you. But what's so nice about this thing, and we're getting back to the hook and loop, is right now it just has this Maverick patch on there because my dog's name is Goose. I bought him a Goose patch and it came with this one, so there's the joke. If anybody's ever want me to verify he's my dog, well, anyway, this is great and useful for that. I can have multiple kits, and in fact, I'm going to be ordering more of these so that I can have these already in a different pouch. That maybe I grab that one, when I'm going camping or something, or maybe I want to build a little med kit out of this, and I put a little, med label on there, what have you. That's what's great about these little pouches, is they're so versatile, they're so light. Fold them over, stick them in your pocket. As I said, more times than not in the summer times, I'm wearing shorts, I'm wearing basketball shorts. This does not get too bulky, and that's what I'm loving about it. And it's so nice to have your base kit ready to go, that you can just add or remove little items as needed. So I can, okay, if I don't want to carry this today, I can carry this, or if I want to do this, what have you. But having the base kit there, having it ready to go, that you can just grab and throw in your pocket, bam, instead of having to have this stuff organized in a little, I used to have a little spot on my nightstand where all my stuff was organized, that when I'd get dressed in the morning, I'm get ready to leave, I pick it all up, stick it in my pocket. Doesn't need to do that anymore because I got this. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. So there we go. That's been my setup in this little Hidden Woodsmen EDC pouch. absolutely love this thing, as I said. But I'd like to know what you guys are doing, what you guys are carrying, and what you might add or take away from it. You know, do you have any ideas? Obviously, like I said, the controversial take on the pencil versus pen, you know, what have you. But hopefully this gives you some ideas. And this is just a fantastic product. I think they're 20, 25, 30 bucks. They're worth it. Of course, you can get cheaper products from other places, but the build quality on this is just outstanding. It's a very good product. It's worth every single dollar. And yeah, I wanted to use it for a while before I could say that, because again, it is more expensive than the alternatives. Now, if you stuck around this long, why don't you pop down the description. Down there, there's a couple local animal rescues and animal shelters that they love your support, or more importantly, support your own local animal rescue, animal shelter if you're not from the Nebraska and Kansas area. You know, be it with a couple bucks, be it with a little bit of your time, or even better, adopting a new best friend. That's what they're there for. They'd love to have you. Speaking of love to have you, I'd love to have you back. If you're not subscribed already, hit the little thing down here. I've linked some other videos at the end here that, you know, you might be interested in. And I do a lot of this kind of stuff, and down in the description is also some of my buddies that do a lot of this kind of stuff, and they'd also love to have you visit. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.